Welcome back. Under Review, episode 9.
Back at it again, here to talk some more sports from your sports experts.
We are recording on a Thursday and releasing the next Wednesday, so we will update y'all on everything that has happened so far on March 10th, 2022.
We want to preface this by saying there could be a lot that happens between when this gets recorded and when it releases, because we're actually leaving for spring break.
We are students
tomorrow,
as well as businessmen.
So we wanted to make sure that we got an episode that we could release for next Wednesday.
Because we care about y'all as our listeners.
So that y'all don't miss out on anything.
Exactly.
And so y'all don't forget about us.
And now, let's get started.
Let's.
Oh, we already did the intro. My bad. All right, for your stat of the week, we are going to talk some NFL free agency today, so we're going to go with a stat from there. It is not breaking news because it released a few days ago, but Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos.
Very huge.
Big moves for the Broncos. It actually increased their playoff. They were 20th in playoff odds. Why am I saying playoff odds? Super Bowl odds to win the Super Bowl. And they jumped from 20th all the way to 5th. They jumped the Cowboys, which I don't know why the Cowboys are 6th. We'll talk about that later. We're not going to go to the Super Bowl. But they jumped in the rankings and those odds. And this stat is brought to you by Between the Two Cereal Boxes, which is a show that will be airing soon, featuring me, Nick, Sean, and Jackson Dublin, who y'all haven't met yet, but will at some point on this show. But keep an eye out for that. But that's who is sponsoring this stat.
Now for your player of the week. Joseph already touched on him a little bit. Our player of the week is actually Russell Wilson.
Picture not up to date because
yes,
he's in a Seahawks
he is not in a Broncos uniform in this picture because I cannot find one. But anyway, he got traded from the Seahawks to the Broncos, and I feel like it's a better fit for him. So he went from a bad team to, I think, a better team. He has some more weapons, and I feel like he has a good defense to play around. And so for that reason, Russell Wilson is our player of the week. And then I think that actually piggybacks pretty well into our first topic of discussion.
Let's analyze the trade.
Free agency, all these moves.
It's been a busy week in NFL free agency.
For sure. There's a lot that's been going on.
Obviously, the biggest one was Russell Wilson to the Broncos.
Right.
And we'll talk about that real quick. I love that trade for the Broncos.
Yeah.
A lot of people are comparing him to the Bucs.
I think it's kind of the same thing because, like, Russell, he's a dangerous weapon. He's got a very good arm. He's a good scrambler in the pocket. And I feel like he can mesh those weapons that they have together. One thing I think I kind of feel bad for Noah Fant. I feel like he's a pretty good tight end.
Yeah, he's really good.
And he got news that Russell Wilson's being traded, and he's like, yes, dude, finally, a good quarterback. And then it's like, oh, you got traded, and you're going with Drew Lock to the Seahawks. And it's like, what the heck, dude? But obviously, I think a lot of Broncos fans are pretty hyped to have a good quarterback. Definitely an upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater, if you ask me. I feel like you could have Russ long-term, at least longer than you would have had Teddy or Drew Lock, because those aren't franchise quarterbacks, if you ask me. So Russell Wilson is definitely going to do some damage for those Broncos.
It is a quarterback-centered league, and we've seen if you don't have a good quarterback,
right.
and sometimes all you need is a good quarterback. If you look at the Bengals, Joe Burrow, and obviously he had good receivers, but they had nothing else, and they went to the Super Bowl.
Their defense was garbage. Their O-line was garbage, and they still made it work somehow.
Yeah, and the Rams had a great defense, but until they got a reliable quarterback in Matt Stafford, they didn't do anything. So the Broncos have definitely increased their chances to get to the Super Bowl. I will say it will be fun watching some divisional games in that division because
that division is now loaded with quarterbacks.
Exactly. You've got the Chargers with Justin Herbert, the Raiders with Derek Carr, the Broncos now with Russell Wilson, and obviously the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see some divisional games from the AFC West. But it was a great move by the Broncos. I think you give up whatever you have to give up for Russ. And
yeah, they're getting flamed saying like they're giving up their whole future for Russ, but I feel like that's how important the quarterback position is. They kept their stud defense, right? They gave up one offensive weapon, a tight end, which I feel like that's pretty replaceable because they have They have two pretty solid running backs, if you ask me. I think Melvin Gordon's good. I think Javonte is good.
All you need is a pass.
And then also they've got Jerry Jeudy's a good receiver. Cortland Sutton's a good receiver.
Tim Patrick came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Patrick's a good receiver. So, and their O-line's pretty good. So I feel like
their defense, this is actually a cool stat. Their defense allowed the third fewest points and the third fewest yards last year. So their defense is basically the third best defense in the league.
It was just
Obviously,
they didn't have a
Cowboys
good
were
enough
number one.
offense to kind of
You've got to have an offense.
ping off that.
You can't
right?
you can't just have a defense nowadays.
Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are both good backup quarterbacks, not starters. They're good backups. They can come in when the starter gets injured, win maybe 1-2 games, but then other than that, I don't think you're looking at any more from them.
I am super happy for Russ because I think he will benefit more from being here. And
He deserves to be on a good team.
Not here, sorry, we're not in Denver, but they're in Denver. And then happy for him. And then let's talk about the other one real quick, the one that Nick and I both don't care about. Everyone knew Aaron Rodgers was going back to the Packers. Nick and I called it because the man is a drama queen, loves the attention. So all offseason he's been, quote, leaving the Packers. He hates the Packers, blah, blah, blah. It's been going on for years.
That's how it happens every year. After he gets mad that he loses, and so he's like, oh, I'm leaving the Packers.
And the
but
sports
it never
media
happens.
just eats out of his hand. And they're like, and the Packers fans, no, Aaron, please don't go.
Leave, no.
Don't leave. Well, guess what, Packers fans? You just got stuck with 5 more years of not winning any
I would just like
Super Bowls.
to point one thing out. Nick Foles is an atrocious quarterback, like absolutely atrocious.
Good dude, though. Good dude.
But he has the same amount of Super Bowl wins as Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron
Rodgers is worth like way more money than Nick Foles is, but they both did the exact same job. So
exactly. Aaron Rodgers.
Do with that what you want.
I don't know what they're thinking because Aaron Rodgers, since he went to the Super Bowl 10 years ago,
he's done basically nothing.
I think
if you ask me.
He's 1-4 in NFC Championship games, and the one he won is the one they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So since then, he's 0-4 in NFC Championship
and they've been
games.
owned every year in the playoffs by the 49ers.
That's true.
49ers were awful
and
this
Russ
year.
in the Seahawks.
Yes, you're right. Back in
So,
the Legion of Boom era.
I mean, hey, we all knew he was going back to Green Bay. Honestly, I don't know why you want him anywhere else. I hope he retires soon, but Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe he'll get a haircut too.
No, he's not getting. We wish he would get a haircut, but Aaron Rodgers is not our favorite on this show. So I mean, hey, good job, Aaron. You squeezed the Packers for everything they're worth, and now they're having to scramble around to please your every need. So you've got the Packers eating out of your hand. Thank goodness you're not on the Cowboys.
Hallelujah.
So actually, though, we aren't too happy with the Cowboys right now.
It's very confusing as to what is happening, if you ask me.
Nick, you want to let everyone know what's going on with the Cowboys?
Obviously, there's the whole Amari Cooper situation.
What's going on with
right?
Amari Cooper?
They're talking about trading and or possibly cutting Amari, which does not make any sense. Because if you want him off of the Cowboys team, then you should definitely trade him. Like, he is worth a lot, so it does not make sense to even be thinking about cutting him. I personally don't see why you would trade him because he's our
number one receiver.
He's our wide receiver 1. I don't feel like CeeDee Lamb can fill that role as a wide receiver 1. Definitely not Gallup. Definitely not Cedric Wilson. Definitely not Noah Brown. Michael Gallup, he's a good receiver. He's good at one-on-ones and those insane sideline catches, but he's not the guy that can. He's not as good of a route runner as Amari Cooper is, and obviously there's the speed difference, right? That's what makes Amari so lethal.
Right.
You can put him on that fade, let it fly. But I am very against getting rid of Amari Cooper. If it were up to me, I would say Zeke over Amari.
Zeke
we're getting
or
rid of
Gallup,
somebody.
Or I would say pretty much not CD, but I don't know. Even if it came to Amari or CD, Amari's more reliable. I don't know what we're thinking. And then also we're talking about getting rid of DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, or
and
Randy Gregory
is set to become a free agent. So we came in. I think in earlier episodes we mentioned that all the Cowboys were coming back, which was the
they
common
should,
conception.
they could, but we're just making stupid offseason mistakes.
Let's talk about what the actual problem was. The actual problem was 1 year ago when Jerry caved and paid Dak everything he wanted. And now we are in serious cap trouble. So thank you, Dak Prescott, who, as Amari Cooper said, is the black Kirk Cousins
That came out yesterday.
It came out
Wednesday
yesterday as a quote from Amari
on
Cooper.
Twitter
from
after
Amari
the
Cooper.
49ers game. He got called the Black Kirk Cousins, and
So
that fired everyone up, and so now there's huge tension between those two.
So obviously, Dak's getting huge criticism from even his own teammates, from Amari Cooper mainly, which might be the reason why they're letting Amari go. But like Dak, you need to do something.
Dude, he needs to take a lesson from Tom Brady.
Earn your money.
Tom Brady doesn't ask for a lot because he understands the value of keeping the weapons around you.
Yeah, so now you're a rich quarterback.
So it does
with
not
no
make
weapons.
sense.
Aaron Rodgers, that's the reason he has no weapons. He wants to get paid tons of money, so he only has one receiver.
Yes, exactly.
But you're not as good in the regular season as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not good in the playoffs. I'll go on record saying that. I'd say that to Aaron Rodgers if I could.
Yeah, I mean, what's the truth? You'd be speaking nothing but the truth.
Well, that's all we do on this show. Speak
Exactly.
the truth. I don't know what else we would say. Anything else would go against our contract that we have with each other.
Speaking of the Cowboys and the defensive side, I say go out there and get Bobby Wagner.
I like
okay?
that. I like that. I don't think he'd be that expensive.
I don't know why the Seahawks released him.
Trouble. Everyone's having to release people.
But like, I feel like you should be able to make maneuvers and do whatever you can to keep him because he's the star on your defense, right? He's been many Pro Bowl. I don't know the exact number, but I feel like having Micah and Bobby Wagner linebackers, dude, that would be insane. It would be so good. And then we were talking about off the air, I believe that was earlier today, Chandler Jones. You know,
Chandler Jones, I think, is set to become a free agent, or they might have
that's a possibility.
to get rid of him. But if we're losing D-Law and Randy Gregory, we're going to.
We
need
definitely
to
need to get some replacements or
Micah
someone
can't
to
play
fill
every
those
position
roles
on defense.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he could.
He can do everything because he's literally the best ever. But you know, we got to help him out a little bit.
We have to help him out with.
There
pass
has to be
rushers.
11 on the field, so we need to get the best 11.
Believe me,
out there.
if it could just be Micah on our defense, like if we could have 11 Micahs, I would.
Oh, absolutely.
Do that in a heartbeat. But we
the
can't.
fastest man alive, yes, please.
The best player in the game of football right now,
Oh, absolutely.
or maybe ever.
Ever. He's going to do it.
He
By
could.
the end of his career, they're going to look back and say, Tom Brady who? And they'll be talking about Micah Parsons.
Tom who? That doesn't make sense if you say Tom Brady who, because you already said his name, and then like.
That's what.
Or
okay.
like who's Tom Brady maybe?
Tom Brady who? Because you have to
There's
refer
nothing
to
that
the
comes
person.
after Tom Brady.
You have to refer. Okay, whatever. Fight me.
I'm right on this one. Anyways, so that's what's going on with the Cowboys, as usual, making stupid offseason mistakes. I'm sure when the draft rolls around, we will draft amazing people because Jerry Jones is good at drafting. But other than
Stud
that,
drafter.
Jerry, please just stay out of football and let the football people handle football.
Yeah, go back to your mansion.
Or yacht. Or
Whatever you do in the
whatever
off
you do.
season.
Just go be a businessman. You're
Stop
good at that.
messing up the Cowboys front
And-
office, please.
And get Stephen Jones out of the football stuff too. And Mike McCarthy. Sean Payton, we need you in Dallas.
Oh, absolutely. But Sean Payton's never going to come here because he's not going to get control. So
I guess two also notable trades we need to, or not trades, sorry. One trade and then one signing for the Chargers. They signed Mike Williams back and as well as Khalil Mack.
yeah.
So
he
they
could be
shored up
going
their
there.
defense, which their defense was their problem. Their offense was good.
Oh yeah, they got stud offense. You know,
So now
I
they've
feel
got
like
a solid defense.
they had a similar situation that the Bengals had. You know,
Right.
they had a pretty good offense, but a really bad defense, and
That's what ended up.
they just couldn't
hurting
really
them.
score enough points. You know, to offset
Overcome that.
what the defense did. But I feel like the Chargers are going to be really good next
Chargers
year.
will be good. There's some teams that are now obviously the Broncos and just Chargers and teams that will be back. The Chiefs, the Bills will be back. The AFC for the first time in a while is looking a lot better than the NFC.
Yes, I would have to agree. I
It's-
feel like for the most part, it's been the NFC that's been kind of rolling
People say
over
the
everyone.
Packers will be back. I hope that they're not. And then obviously the Rams will probably be back. The Cardinals, I don't see them as a huge threat, but they'll be good in the regular season, I think.
I think it'll be kind of the same as this year.
Yeah.
You know, win a lot of games in the regular season and
then
not do
Carson
good in the playoffs.
Wentz to the Commanders.
I'm
not sure why they made
don't
that move.
really understand that trade. I feel like the arm talent difference on Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke is not that much. Obviously, I think Carson Wentz is a better arm than Heineke, but
Carson Wentz is so much more expensive, though.
Yes, and he is so injury prone. Taylor Heineke is definitely more
Taylor
mobile
Heineke
than Carson
took
Wentz.
hit after hit from Michael Parsons.
Yes,
And
he
stayed
got
in the game
bodied all game
because
long.
his offensive line is not good. So
Carson Wentz is gonna get injured, and I'm gonna laugh and
he
be like,
will
"You
get
fools!
injured.
We told you.
We did tell
We
you on an
told
interview.
you."
You heard it here first. But I think a lot of people are questioning the pickup of Carson Wentz, the trade for him. I mean, like, it just doesn't make
of the
a whole lot of
quarterbacks
sense.
out there. I feel like you could choose a way better option.
I would rather have Jameis Winston.
Honestly, if I'm the Commanders
Jameis,
and it's
according to
between Heineke and Wentz, I'd probably stick with Heineke
Me too. I'm probably gonna start calling Jameis Winston Jameis just because
because of old Jake.
because Jake
Yeah.
Vassar. Go listen to episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand it. I think Heineke and I would rather have Fitzgerald other than
Fitzpatrick.
Dude, did I say Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Dude, throw Larry Fitzgerald back there. I'd rather have
Yeah,
him
he's
at
probably better
quarterback.
than Carson Wentz. At least he's more mobile and won't get injured.
But I would rather
Right?
have Ryan Fitzpatrick or Larry Fitzgerald.
Dude, Ryan Fitzpatrick is old, man. He's played for
But
everybody.
the man's a gunslinger.
I gotta give it to him. He is a gunslinger.
He takes chances, and he's
I'd
not afraid.
honestly just draft someone instead. If it's between that, if your option is
Yes.
Carson Wentz or Taylor Heineke,
Well,
just
now you
draft
just-
someone else,
You have
dude.
to eat Carson Wentz's contract now. The one that he made the Eagles.
He's
do
so
with him.
expensive, but I don't. He's not good enough for
No.
that. I feel like it's kind of like
Can I be as bold as to
Dak
say something?
situation.
Not Dak. I'm gonna make a comparison to the NBA, which we don't normally do. Carson Wentz contract is like the Russell Westbrook contract.
Westbrook.
Westbrook made them sign him to a max contract, and then after that, he has not been good every year. So every team that has him, he has to eat that contract. And Carson Wentz is the same way. The Colts have to eat it. Now the Commanders.
Westbrook
have
is awful. He's just. I feel like it's kind of similar to Wentz. Wentz is
the contracts are similar.
yeah.
Is what I was saying. Not
Westbrook
necessarily the
is like a
play.
big name, so
And he plays for LA.
yeah, but
But-
he's just not good enough to back it up. And the same thing with Carson Wentz.
Right. And then the Giants are looking to move towards Mitch Trubisky.
I mean, they're just
So, I don't
trying
know
to make
what-
it. I don't know. Okay, the NFC East is making some very questionable moves
I
right
think
now.
it's like they
All-
want
all
the
the
Cowboys
teams.
to win, but the Cowboys are like, no, we don't want to win.
They're
So
just
we're going
like,
to trade away our best
Hey,
players.
you know how we're kind of the worst division? Well, what if we kept being the worst division every year?
I think they have
Wouldn't that be
like,
so funny?
some kind of side agreement to do that. And the Cowboys are like, wait, if y'all are going to be bad, we want to be bad too. So let's get rid of Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and everything good about our team.
It's very confusing.
It's super confusing. We hear it under review. We try to understand, but we can't understand when they make
I don't
dumb
know.
decisions.
Okay, when you're the Giants, I'm not sure why you would trade for a backup.
How is Daniel Jones and Mitch Trubisky any different? Like, they're both the same. They both are not good.
I don't even know why they had Daniel Jones for too long. I'm sorry, but Daniel Jones is atrocious. Mitch Trubisky is not that much of an upgrade.
Dude, Jameis, he's out there. Teddy Bridgewater, he's out there. I feel like anyone that's out there right now would be better
Those quarterbacks
than Mitch
are
Trubisky.
okay, but they're definitely better than Mitch Trubisky.
I'm not sure what we're doing. I think that's what I'm saying. I think the AFC is making some really good moves. The NFC re-signing Rodgers, Wentz to the Commanders, Trubisky to the Giants, cutting Amari, like all this stuff. Like the NFC, I think the NFC and the AFC made a deal, and the AFC's like, can we be good? And the NFC's like, yeah. So basically, it'll be more fun to watch the AFC this upcoming season. And as Cowboys fans, we will probably be throwing TV remotes and punching things while we watch Cowboys games.
Oh, for sure.
Being like,
That's how it normally goes.
oh,
anyway.
Gallup's hurt again. Where's Amari? Oh, Amari's on a team in the AFC because that's probably where he's going. So the Patriots, actually. The Patriots could be making some big money moves.
I feel like that would be a good move for the Patriots
Oh,
because
yeah.
they were looking at
Allen Robinson.
yes, another receiver because they have a solid defense and obviously with Bill Belichick at the helm, like he's very good coach. So obviously he sets up a good defense.
Exactly.
So I feel like they have solid defense. Mac Jones is a pretty good quarterback, and obviously Bill Belichick can teach anybody.
Right.
He kind of got Brady to where he is today. And I just don't feel like the Patriots have a true wide receiver one. Right now, you look at
No, they do not.
Aguilar,
Bourne,
Jacoby Myers, or whatever. Those are three decent guys, but like none of them, they wouldn't be a
some
wide
leadership.
receiver one on any other team. So then they could get Allen Robinson, possibly Amari, and they have Hunter Henry, who I feel like he's a good target.
He's a good tight end.
He is a good tight end. He's a very good red zone threat. He doesn't drop a lot of passes, and so I feel like if you can maybe get some weapons around Mac Jones, then the Patriots could be possibly a playoff contender. I wouldn't go as far as say Super Bowl contender.
We will keep y'all updated on the NFL free agency and what's going on because there will be some more moves. Side note, we're not really talking about this today. Baseball's back, so there will be a lot of free agent signings here in the next.
It is about
weeks.
To be an absolute frenzy.
And we cannot wait. But
I cannot wait to see what the Rangers do.
Let's shift gears. That's all about the NFL. Let's shift gears to
the upcoming
tourney.
March Madness.
March Madness, baby. So I guess this episode will be airing the day before March Madness officially starts.
Mm-hmm.
So you're listening to this on Wednesday. Go fill out a bracket. You still have a day. Nick and I, as per request of one of our most dedicated listeners, Miss K, Shirtliff, shout out. She's the best. We are going to give our picks in March Madness. And obviously, March Madness it's like, it doesn't matter how many experts say stuff. Anything can happen in March Madness. So Nick and I are just going to give our picks for who we think is going to win it and one sleeper because there's always a few sleepers.
There's always
in March
that one
Madness.
sleeper that beats the team that no one is expecting.
Nick, why don't you go first on yours?
Let me give my champion first. Got to go with the Baylor Bears.
You want to repeat?
Let them go back to back. They've had some huge wins. I feel like the Big 12 teams are very good. Mm-hmm. So the wins that they've gotten, I feel like actually matter. The Kansas one was huge.
Right.
And then my sleeper pick. This is just kind of random, but I'm just like this is going to be the team that upsets somebody.
Bunch of teams.
USC.
All right, USC.
Don't ask me why.
Kind of played well this year,
but it will happen.
So that's Nick's picks.
When USC upsets everyone and goes to the Final Four. That's right, USC to the Final Four.
Whoa.
They
are kind of in a weaker part of the bracket.
Can go back to when I said that USC was going to be a sleeper, and I think I would deserve like $100,000 or something like that.
All right, Warren Buffett will give you part of the perfect bracket.
So much.
So my champion, and actually I've been thinking a lot about this because I like Baylor to go back, but at the same time we don't normally see back-to-back champions. It's just so hard to do.
Right.
And so I'm not going to go with Baylor, but also don't like any of the number ones. I think Gonzaga's weak. I think Kansas is weak, and Arizona, I don't even know how they got to be a number one. And so I'm going to go with either I actually haven't made a final decision. I'm going to make it right now. Okay. Tech is going to be the champion. At a number 3 seed,
Grody.
Texas Tech, I really like their defense. And in March Madness, defense is... And I'm not doing this to be rivals. Like I know Baylor and Tech are rivals, but I actually really like Tech. I don't actually have I'm not a Baylor Bear or a Tech fan, so I'm kind of neutral on that. But like Tech, I like them to go all the way at least to the Final Four and the championship again because they've done it before pretty recently. And then my sleeper is going to be I'm gonna go with Davidson, number 11 seed. In the 11 seed, Steph Curry's alma mater. Don't ask me why. I just have a feeling.
It's always those schools that you never heard of.
Right.
Like
and Loyola Chicago's back.
Loyola Chicago. Literally, no one's ever heard of those two places until March Madness happened where they upset teams, and it's like, oh.
So
okay,
I also would not be shocked if none of the number 1 seeds except for Baylor make it to the Final Four.
Right.
So that's our takes on March Madness. And y'all fill out a bracket. Have fun with it. And even if you don't know anything about college basketball, like filling out a bracket's really easy.
It's still fun just to do.
Normally the people that don't know anything about college basketball and pick it off of, I know my mom wins it a lot and she picks it off of where she wished she had gone to school.
Well, it's because not always
jersey colors or
not always the best team wins, right? There's a lot of upsets in March Madness, so
it's just one game. Anything can happen in a game.
Yeah.
So go fill out a bracket. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, here's where we like to end our shows. On Under Review with our inspirational quote of the day.
Give it to us.
Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just illusions. Would you like to know who said that?
I would love to know who said that.
The GOAT, Michael Jordan. I thought whenever I said the GOAT, he was going to say Tom Brady.
That's
but
a perfect
he
sneak
said
peek.
Michael Jordan.
Our next episode will be
LeBron versus Jordan.
LeBron versus Jordan. And we will have a special guest on, Bonner Brackeen from
Pretty simple
the
answer.
Bull Club podcast.
Jordan.
No, Nick. Oh, man. Okay, y'all still should listen to it, even though Nick gave it away. So, thanks for listening this episode.
Thank you so much.
And y'all have a good week. Thanks for tuning in to Under Review.
We'll see you next time.